Wildcat basketball is on the air on a beautiful Saturday from St. Paul and the Butler Center on the campus of St. Catherine University. This is Wildcat basketball alongside of our engineer this afternoon, Glenn Thompson. I'm Matt Nelson. Today the Wildcats close down the regular season with a MIAC women's basketball matchup as they host Gustavus and the Gusties. Very good team coming into the Butler Center this afternoon. And the Wildcats making history, program history, and making news on Wednesday night as they clinched a spot in the MIAC's postseason. A most unlikely story for this very young team. I think a lot of people saw as perhaps a rebuild in year one for Don Mulhern, but this team had other ideas. Paced by the great play of Donica Cambryce and Jackie Radford, the Wildcats found a way Wednesday night in a do-or-die game against Augsburg and the Augies. That was on the road at Cy Melby Hall. 68-59, a convincing victory for the Wildcats. Donica Cambryce, 12 of 18 from the floor. She had 30 points. Let's hear from head coach Don Mulhern on his team qualifying for the MIAC's postseason. Wildcat pregame show is back on the air. As always, we bring you into the coach's office to hear from Don Mulhern. And, Coach, before we talk about Wednesday night at Augsburg, a great win, you could say a historic win for this program. Let's take a big picture look at this season. I don't know how many people around the continent saw this team making the postseason. Here you are, though. You've clinched a spot in postseason play. What a tremendous accomplishment for a rather young team.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and I guess I can just echo that by saying we're very proud of what the team has done, and they've bought in. They've played really hard down the stretch, and there's been a lot of improvement from an individual point of view with regard to skill sets, but also what I call the team collective improvement in terms of learning to play together, our outside defense, our rotation on defense, those things offensively, being familiar with each other in terms of movements and cuts. So it's been a combination of players buying in, really working really hard. Coach Pepper and Coach Care have done an unbelievable job of the individual and group skill work, and it's been inch by inch improvement. That's what you want to look for.
I'd imagine, okay, first year here at St. Kate's, you've got a youngish team, we'll call them, because you do have some veteran players who have played well and even some sophomores who really don't play like sophomores. They had 4 days to think about it leading into that game against Augsburg. You really probably don't know what you're going to get those first 10 minutes, first half or so, but I thought your team came out, played poised early, and really set the tone for all 40 minutes against the Augies. It was impressive to me.
Well, I told them before the game, my goal coming here is we have high expectations, and to get to that level where you're ready for that, you're going to go through what I call the big games. That Augsburg game was one of those, and how you respond, you can be good, bad, whatever, but you have to go through those moments to be able to deal with that in the future. So for me, it was the playoffs started a week early for us. We responded very well, and I think a bigger picture view is that gave our young players a chance to play in a pretty pressure, high tense situation, and hopefully we have a lot of those in the future. Pressure is a privilege. You want to be on those. That's the fun of this. So hopefully that's the first of many that we have in the future here at St. Kate's with regard to being able to play in big games and playing well in them.
I'll tell you, you talk about playing in the big game. A lot of times you need your best player to play at their best in the big game. And boy, Cambryce, just like clockwork right now, it seems like you can spot her 30 points every night out. And again, playing big minutes on Wednesday night, she was awfully good.
She was very good, and I think it's easy when you talk about Donica to talk about the scoring. And let's face it, scoring, you need it, but scoring can be overrated. She's so good at doing it within the scheme of the offense. She flows. The offense doesn't change because of her. We've done a good job getting the ball, but it's a real tribute to her. She's so efficient. Her defense, her rebounding, and doing everything in terms of the flow, that's what makes her a very special player, but the team is really getting her involved, and that's a big deal.
One that doesn't always put up the huge scoring numbers. Scores pretty well, I think like 8 a game, something like that, but playing with fouls in the second half, I thought while Cambryce was doing the scoring, I thought Jackie Radford did all the dirty work that you could ask for out there.
And you said it, she does the dirty work. She guards the other team's best post player, very good rebounder, so smart, and Jackie having Donica on the floor really helps her with regard to just feeling comfortable and stuff. And Jackie is so under the radar in a good way, knows the game, a Cretan-Durham Hall grad, smart, gritty, and all those things that if you're a real basketball kind of nut, you appreciate the stuff that she does.
And your youngsters, last one about the game against Augsburg, just because it was such a big game, they had their moments in the fourth quarter where they looked like freshmen. And I'm sure, though, for them to have those moments early in their careers, it'll just pay dividends for them moving forward.
I just can't say that enough, is that if you look at anybody who's been successful in life in any endeavor, and I do mean any endeavor, you have your stumbles, you hit your mountains, and you have to go through those. And for me, it's the chance of having those to go through them. I mean, I really believe this in life, that every opportunity, whether you're successful or not, is a chance to learn for that one, for the next one. So we made some freshman mistakes, but we also had some freshmen make some very good plays, and we're going to be that much better for the future, and that's what excites me.
Your team hosts Gustavus today as they wrap up the regular season at home in St. Paul. You guys saw them earlier this year. Didn't go your way. What do you think your team took from that game? A pretty lopsided one for Gustavus.
They're good. They pressure the ball so well. And I mean, not just on the ball pressure, but denying the wing passes, overplaying, and those sorts of things. They basically make it really hard to run your offense. And you have to be able to be patient. You have to be able to swing the ball against them. You have to be able to backdoor cut and all those sorts of things. And we've got to be able to, under the stress of their pressure, still stay composed. And that's easy to say the words, not easy to do it. But having said that, again, that's part of the fun of the MIAC and part of the fun of growing and getting used to, hey, they pressure all the time, and we got to be able to deal with that. And it's a growing process, and they're going to help us get to where we want to be.
What's your coaching philosophy? Last one before we send it back upstairs for the anthem and starting lineup. So what's your coaching philosophy? We don't know yet today what Bethel's going to do, what St. Mary's going to do. Obviously, this is a big game with Gustavus and St. Kate's. But what's your coaching philosophy? It looks like potentially this could be the team you see on Tuesday night. Do you show them everything you got? Do you rest certain players? How do you go about coaching a regular season finale like this?
That's an interesting question, because there's 15 million different philosophies toward that, and you could pick any one philosophy and debate it for or against it. And I guess my answer is we're worried about what we're doing today. We're worried about trying to get better. We're worried about the things that we put in the last 2 days. And Gustavus is going to do what they're going to do. And I guess my philosophy is if we can be better at what we did and execute on our end, no matter what, we're going to be successful. Conversely, if we're too into all the other sort of stuff and worried about what they're doing, well, then we're not getting better ourselves. So my philosophy is focus upon ourselves and what we can control.
That sounds good, Coach. Again, congrats on making the postseason, and we'll save that debate for a happy hour down the road.
That would be good. I'll have my lemonade with that. All right.
There he goes. That's head coach Don Mulhern joining us for our pregame show. And he, of course, Don Mulhern, the first-year head coach of the playoff-bound St. Kate's Wildcats. Let's send it downstairs for the anthem and starting lineups here today as the Wildcats host a very good Gustavus team. We'll keep it downstairs for the starting lineup.
To you, St. Catherine University Wildcats. It's my last game this year, but I want to thank you. It's been a blast for announcing your games. May God continue to bless you richly, and I wish you nothing but continued success in the days, weeks, months, and years ahead. You freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, have a great summer, and we'll see you here next year for more Wildcat basketball. Megan and Alexis, man, it's been a great time. I wish you nothing but the best in the future. And as they say, once a Katie, always a Katie. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's the starting lineups for this afternoon's game. First for the Gusties. From Goodhue, Minnesota, senior guard number 12, Michaela Miller. For the Wildcats from Hutchinson, Minnesota, freshman forward number 4, Ashley Kurth. For the Gusties from Dawson, Minnesota, junior guard number 20, Justine Lee. For the Wildcats from Britain, South Dakota, freshman guard number 5, Ashley Fossness. For the Gusties from Esco, Minnesota, freshman guard number 22, Ava Gronsoroski. For the Wildcats from Minneapolis, Minnesota, sophomore guard number 11, Donica Cambries. For the Gusties from Eden Prairie, Minnesota, junior forward number 35, Kendall Thompson. For the Wildcats from Kenyon, Minnesota, senior guard number 13, Audra Clark. For the Gusties from Forest Lake, Minnesota, junior forward number 43, Miranda Rice. And for the Wildcats from St. Paul, Minnesota, sophomore guard number 15, Jackie Radford. The balance of the Gusties and the balance of the Wildcats.
Bring it back upstairs here. It's going to be a good one. Gustavus Adolphus College and their Gusties. Lori Kelly, their head coach. She's in her 6th season in St. Peter. A 19-5 record this season for the third-place Gusties. 13-4 in the MIAC for the playoff-bound St. Kate's Wildcats. 12-12 overall. 8-9 in the MIAC for their first-year head coach, Don Mulhern. And on Wednesday night, the Wildcats clinched their MIAC postseason berth. They punched their ticket to the playoffs. 68-59 win at Cy Melby Hall in Minneapolis. Donica Cambrise, 12 of 18 from the floor. She had 30 points, and Jackie Radford did all the dirty work. 13 points and 7 boards. This team has been very good this season. At home, they've been 6-5. Second meeting between these two teams this season. They squared off at Gus Young Court down in St. Peter on the 20th of January, and it was an ugly one. The Wildcats got punched by Gustavus 67-40, the final score in that one. Miranda Rice, 9 of 11 from the floor. She had 18 points. And Michaela Miller, very good player in her own right, 6 of 13 for 16 points. Wildcats were led by Alexis Garcia and her 9 points. It's Cambrise and Rice to tip it off. And off we go with the Gusties winning the opening tip. Gustavus, their last time out, they actually lost at St. Ben's, 66-62, the final score. And that one, it snapped a 5-game winning streak. Michaela Miller has it. Now Rice just inside of the elbow. She'll kick it outside. Three-pointer on the way is an air ball out of the hands of Kendall Thompson. She started all 25 games this season for Gustavus, but her first shot is a bad miss from 3. Gustavus, a very good shooting team. And not only shooting the 3 ball, 33% on the season, but just overall. Look at Kurth wide open. The Wildcats score first as Morgan Kurth puts the Wildcats on top 2-0. Wide open layup. Gustavus wearing the road black jerseys trimmed in white piping with gold numerals. Go right to left across your screen. The Wildcats home golds trimmed in white with purple numerals. And a layup ties us. Justine Lee down low scores. And it's 2-2. Just a minute in. Meg Clark with the basketball. The senior. 2 seniors on this team. Meg Clark and Alexis Garcia. Audra Clark as well as senior, but a medical hardship will grant her another year of eligibility. She suffered a lower body injury 7 games into the season. There's Donica Cambrise, first shot of the afternoon. It's short. Rice had the rebound. Cambrise stripped it out of her hands. Her putback's no good. And the rebound chased down by Michaela Miller, the senior out of Goodhue. In transition, will pull it up off of the window. Shots off. Rebound Cambrise and a jump ball. Cambrise and Rice, and it's Wildcat basketball. I mentioned the shooting prowess of this Gustavus team. 44% on the season from the floor, 33% from beyond the arc, and very good at the free throw line as well as Kurth missed an open bunny. Gustavus ball. 76% for the Gusties on the season from the free throw line, so don't want to put them there too often either. Loose ball chased down by Lee. She'll kick it outside. A couple of dribbles there by Gonzarowski. Swung back around Miller. Down low and a layup for Rice. Miranda Rice has started all 25 games this year for Gustavus as Fosness goes the other way in transition and it poked away. But it's Wildcat ball, 4-2 lead for Gustavus. Rice just under 17 points per game to go along with 6.5 boards and 74% from the free throw line. Senior out of Forest Lake, Minnesota. Quick pass, Radford to Cam Bryce. We're tied at 4. Cam Bryce with the lay-in. The Wildcats have a couple of layups, and we're all tied up at 4 apiece. Mentioned these two teams played earlier this season. That was back on January 20th in St. Peter, and the Gusties blew out the Wildcats. Pump fake by Miller. She drives, kicks. Short shot for Thompson. Off of the front iron, rebounded by Meg Clark. She'll work the outlet pass ahead for Cam Bryce, who slices through 2 defenders and lays it up and in. Cam Bryce with 4 points early. It's a 6-4 lead for St. Kate's, working quickly in transition. Rice has it, and she has her second bucket of the afternoon. Miranda Rice ties us at 6 apiece. This start resembles the start that the Wildcats had against Hamlin last Saturday in a game they eventually won. Very high-scoring first quarter, fast pace. That's what we've seen here so far. Cam Bryce lost it. Miranda Rice is able to collect a Wildcat turnover. Gustavus with numbers, works it in transition. Thompson kicks outside. Miller three-pointer off. Weak side rebound, Morgan Kurth. Wildcats have guards that rebound well. Kurth, Fosness, and Radford all rebound at a pretty good clip. And Meg Clark no slouch down low either. Loose ball over the baseline middle. Stay with St. Kate's. Afternoon's broadcast is interactive. Whether you're rooting on the Gusties or the Wildcats, drop us a note and let us know who you're rooting for and where you're listening from. wildcatsbooth@gmail.com. Again, the email address for us here in the broadcast booth, wildcatsbooth@gmail.com. We'll make sure to get you a shout out on air as the Wildcats wrap up the regular season, but the season will not come to a finish today. All 6 teams have clinched their playoff spots in the MIAC. However, we don't quite know where they'll wind up. It looks more than likely, though, that St. Kate's will play Tuesday night at Gus Young Court in St. Peter. 6:17 left in the first quarter. If you're just joining us, Wildcats and Gusties from St. Paul. Right now, the top 2 seeds would be St. Thomas and St. Ben's. Gustavus, the 3 seed, would have to play in the first round as Radford poked it away. Our first look at Odo off of the bench for Gustavus. She has it here. Give it one dribble. Long 2 is well off to the right. Loose ball hauled in by Rice and an easy putback for Miranda Rice. Too easy as she collects the miss from Odo and is able to finish it off to put the Gusties on top 8-6. The top 2 seeds, St. Thomas and St. Ben's. The Gusties, the 3rd seed, would play in the first round. More than likely will host St. Kate's. A jump ball called. It'll stay on this side with the arrow belonging to St. Kate's. Don Mulhern going into his bench for the first time. Bailey Silman will relieve Morgan Kurth. And at the last moment, Sam Skwarek will come in for Fosness. 5:45 left in the first quarter. So Gustavus would host St. Kate's if the standings remain as they are right now. St. Mary's is playing Hamlin. If the standings, and we've got an injury, they're calling for a trainer, a hand injury. Looked like they needed a trainer to come over and look at the thumb on the injured Gustie player, so they'll get that taken care of. But if the standings stay as they will be, as they are at the beginning of the day, as Silman lets loose on a 3-pointer, Gusties come up with Odo pulling down the rebound. Then the Wildcats would play Gustavus, and St. Mary's would go to Arden Hills to play Bethel. Now today, St. Mary's is playing Hamlin. If St. Mary's were to lose and the Wildcats found a way to beat Gustavus today, that would put St. Kate's in the 5 seed. 3-pointer, short, rebound Radford. That would put St. Kate's into the 5 seed and a matchup against the 4 seed Bethel in Arden Hills on Tuesday. But if the standing, because they would have the tiebreaker, beating St. Mary's twice. Cambryce, short one, knocked it down. Good start for Donica Cambryce. She has 6 of the Wildcats' 8 points. And Taylor Anderson in for the first time. The junior out of Rogers will give Michaela Miller a breather. Emma Nelson as well in for the Wildcats. And Brooke Torvik as both teams go deeper into their bench. But both of these teams are in. St. Thomas, St. Ben's, Gustavus, Bethel, St. Mary's, and St. Kate's in that order have punched their tickets to the MIAC postseason. The Wildcats started their playoffs a week early on Wednesday night at Solid Melbay Hall. Oh, Rice traveled, no call. They'll swing it back around. Now Rice gets it one-on-one against Nelson. She booted it, and in the end, the Wildcats come up with it. Still the same. Odo tying up Sporek. Good defense by Odo, the senior out of Apple Valley. 3 points a game, a good defensive player. Tied 8-8, low-scoring first quarter. We started fast and furious. Since then, the shooting has gone cold for both teams. So what that means is in women's basketball, Augsburg, Concordia, Carleton, McAllister, Hamlin, and St. Olaf will miss the postseason in 2018. They'll end their regular seasons today. Shot is short. Rebound for Lee. No reset of the shot clock. And the Gustavus bench was going wild over that. It doesn't matter. It's a travel. They wanted a reset of the shot clock. They just said that the shot by Anderson was short. Gustavus wants a timeout. Lori Kelly gets it. We're all square. 8 apiece. Haven't yet played 6 minutes. 4:14 left in the first quarter from St. Paul. You're listening to Wildcat Basketball.
For team physicians to the University of St. Catherine's, Augsburg College, Hamlin University, and others. Visit tcomn.com.
A big thanks to Twin Cities Orthopedics for their support of Wildcat basketball, Wildcat athletics. All season long, our final broadcast for 2017 and 2018 from the Butler Center. Stay tuned on whether or not TJ Sports Online and yours truly will carry the playoff game, whether that's in Arden Hills or in St. Peter. Time and weather will tell on that one, but very exciting stuff for Don Mulhern and this team. I was watching along Wednesday night with the rest of you as the Wildcats found a way to win that game. As that one's walked in by Kendall Thompson, an easy layup for the junior out of Eden Prairie. Thompson just under 10 points a game as Odo steals that one away. The Wildcats can't get it out of the backcourt. Pump fake on a 3. Anzarowski has it on the right-hand side. On the wing, she'll drive. Got by Silman. Had her shot blocked. Good closeout by Skworek to help defensively. Wildcats have a 3-on-3. Silman nearly lost it. Just got enough on it to get it to Nelson. Now into the post. Cambryce double-teamed. Off of the window. No good. And a foul, I think, is going to be called against Torvik. It is after the rebound by Taylor Anderson. It'll be the first foul against St. Kate's. And it is against Brooke Torvik with 3:38 left in the first quarter. Skworek and Cambryce to the bench for a breather in what could be a preview of Tuesday night's first round MIAC postseason action. Pass down low. Radford lost track of Miller. Layup no good. Shot blocked by Torvik, and on the putback, Bolin was fouled by Torvik. Second foul against Torvik in less than a minute, and it'll send Gabby Bolin to the free throw line. She's playing in her 21st game this season, all off of the bench for the freshman, the youngster, 5'9", out of Winona, Minnesota. And with her team up by 2, she'll go to the stripe. Bolin's first shot is good. The 4 losses this season for Gustavus against quality opponents. St. Thomas twice, Bethel, and St. Ben's. Good trip to the stripe for Bolin. She knocks them both down. Gustavus by 4. Wildcats trailing early in the first quarter. Bradford for Torvik. Pump fake now. Down low. Detman's first touch of the afternoon. Radford 2-pointer. Knocked it down. Nicely done Little mid-range jumper for Jackie cuts the Gustavus lead to 2. Odo splitting through the Wildcat defense. Her layup is up and good. And Odo with her first 2 points. She averages three a game. Gusties by 4. Detman surveys the defense. Down low, Meg Clark got bumped. Couldn't reel in the pass. It's a turnover. Anderson pushes the pace ahead for Bolin. Now up top with it, Thompson. She sends it down low for Miller, who goes through a double team and scores it. Miller has her first 2 points. She's a scoring threat, averaging more than 16 a game. Radford in transition. Her layup off of the window. Back-to-back buckets for Jackie. Has 4 fourth-quarter points. It's 16-12. Gustavus on top. And a foul against Detman as she came up to guard Bolin. Torvik to the bench. Cam Bryce and Kurth back in. Detman as well as Ashley Fossness comes in as well. So more starters back in with 2:14 left here in the first half. Another loose ball. Boy, the Wildcats do a nice job deflecting passes. Gustavus does it well, as you see there. Clark tips it to Cam Bryce, and Don Mulhern takes a timeout. Quick check of the inbox. Wildcats booth at gmail.com. We've got our first email in from Dan Fossness. Had a chance to meet him last week. That was a great time. And they're listening from Sioux Falls. And they're enjoying the coverage of today's game in what is a very close game. 16-12 the score right now with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Mary Fossness as well, listening from Webster, South Dakota. So good, strong contingent of Wildcats fans, especially at number 5 here early in the first quarter. Again, whether you're rooting for Gustavus or St. Kate's, drop us a note, wildcatsbooth at gmail.com, and let us know where you're listening from and who you're rooting for. You look at Gustavus in the season that they've had, 19-5 for Lori Kelly. They lost their last time out, but again, that was coming on the heels of a 5-game winning streak. So they've really played well down the stretch in conference play as Meg Clark wiggles her way through a double team. Now Fossness will set it up at the top of the key with 14 seconds left on the shot clock, directing traffic for Radford. Cam Bryce doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but she knocks that one down. Big shot for Cam Bryce off of the bench. She comes right back in, and the Wildcats get on their way with scoring. Fast break and turned over. Rice trying to find Miller. They're the 1-2 punch for Gustavus as that one nearly tipped out of bounds, and it is. Wildcat ball as Bolin stepped out of bounds. One thing you'll see that Gustavus does really well, and it's worth noting if these two teams play in St. Peter on Tuesday night in a do-or-die playoff game, is they really get in those passing lanes. That's a double dribble they're going to call against Fossness. Just that moment of hesitation trying to get it for Cam Bryce, and she would have had an easy path to the basket. Gustavus ball, turnover St. Kate's, but they do a really good job of getting in those passing lanes, deflecting the ball, redirecting the ball, and creating turnovers. Defensively, they've got great size, great athleticism, good length. I mean, you look at the players that are out on the court right now, like Lee and Rice, and there's one of our own, Cam Bryce. Sounded like I was talking about Donica as the Wildcats get the steal and score and lead. Cam Bryce has 11 of the Wildcats' 17 points. This one's kicked. It's Gustavus ball. Wildcats leading through 9 minutes of play. But just like Cam Bryce, the Lees, the Andersons, the Thompsons, the Rices of the world, very long defensively and all very athletic. It's a nightmare. You better be tight on your passing. You better put something on it, and you better know where you're going with the basketball, or they'll pick it off. Any slow lobs, they get picked off by this team. Nice move by Lee down low. Lee gets the better of Kurth and has 4 first quarter points. Gustavus recaptures the lead 18-17. First quarter. Cam Bryce, one dribble, top of the key. Now Kurth into the post, Meg Clark. She'll post up, double team, kicked outside for Radford. Blue pass Rice, now Cam Bryce. The jumper off, rebound Gustavus. Konzarowski. Bolin pulls it up on the fast break. Now Odo. Down low, Rice, triple team, kicked outside. Drive, shot, long that time for Gonzarowski. Kurth has it, it's a jump ball. And St. Kate's ball with the arrow with 14 seconds left in the first quarter. So St. Kate's can hold it for the last shot. No shot clock on this position. Eight seconds left now. Clark with 5 seconds. Spins into the lane. Header shot blocked by Rice. Got wiped out. And Lee will give it a last second heave to no avail. We've played 10 minutes from St. Paul. And it's a close one, a 1-point game at the end of the first quarter. Gustavus 18, St. Kate's 17. Can you imagine if these two teams play on Tuesday night? If the score is that close, we'd be in for a very exciting last 30 minutes of basketball. Let's break with the players and hear from our sponsors. You're listening to Wildcat Basketball on TJSportsOnline.net.
McGough Construction, building for the next generation. They have an unsurpassed reputation for quality workmanship, creative value engineering, and innovative solutions, delivering projects on time and on budget. At the heart of who they are, McGough Construction values the passion and commitment that drives their reputation for quality. Learn more at www.mcgough.com.
A reminder, tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by Goodmanson Construction, the Opus Group, People's Electric Co-op, and the Ryan Company. Go Cats!
Shapco Printing, a full-service print solution provider, producing the highest quality print communications, reliably and consistently to customers across the globe. Shapco has received numerous awards from a variety of prestigious organizations. Located at 1109 Zane Avenue North in Minneapolis. For more information or to contact us, check us out online, www.shapco.com. On your way.
Great start for St. Kate's, although it's Gustavus leading by 1 as we go to the second quarter. Matt Nelson back with you. Mentioned that last time out for Gustavus, they lost at St. Ben's 66-62, the final score. That's just how St. Ben's likes it. They like those low-scoring defensive battles. But the 5-game winning streak that Gustavus had going into that game was against on the road against St. Olaf, Carleton at home, 2 road games against Hamlin and McAllister, 2 teams not nearly to the talent level of Gustavus, and then a win at home against Bethel. A very good team. That could be a playoff preview as well. Cam Bryce with a block shot. Odo got it back and put it back up and in. to 17, Gustavus on top. Fosness for Radford. Cam Bryce, one-on-one to the basket. Shots off. And Rice, just a rebounding force. Averages more than 6 a game. Did well to pull that one in. Miller for Rice. The 1-2 punch into the middle of his zone. Kicks outside. Jumper up, off. And rebound on the weak side by Kurth. St. Kate's holding their own on the glass against Gustavus. And only down by 3. They can tie it with a long ball here. Radford will give it a shot and tie us up at 20. Radford has 7 first half points, and we're all tied up at 20 apiece. 8:50 to go in the first half. Nice shot by Jackie as she went stepping into that one. Anzarowski has it now. The freshman out of Esco, Minnesota. Will float it for Miller on the elbow. Down low, Rice. Mismatch there. Radford and Clark no match as Rice goes to the left hand and scores. She has 8 points. Rice is a handful and would be in any potential playoff matchup. Cam Bryce airmailed it. It's picked off by Michaela Miller. She'll go the length of the court, lay it up and in. Kurth, no chance to slow down Michaela Miller unless he wanted to tackle her, wrap her up, put her in a straitjacket. Otherwise, she was going to score. Very good, strong guard. Radford has it now. Nice pass, Cam Bryce, down low for Kurth. And check that Fosness. 5.5 a game for the 5'9" freshman out of Britain, South Dakota. Starting her 15th game this season. Fosness on the board, cuts it to just a 2-point game. Now Miller, lost Kurth, lines up a short jumper. Short. Radford had it, lost it, loose ball. And the refs will determine this one. They'll say Gustavus ball. That was kind of a 50-50 call, so as soon as that thing went rolling into the backcourt, it was up to the Zebras. Don Mulhern asking why the shot clock is at 30 right now with that ball rolling into the backcourt. They'll have to figure out just how much time will go back onto that shot clock. But the Wildcats on the season, 37% from the floor, 26% from beyond the arc, and 66% from the free throw line. Donica Cambrise has been so good here in the first half with her 11 points. Her last 2 games, 60 points, 30 in both of those games, and 24 of 38 from the floor to go along with 16 rebounds. So playing her best ball down the stretch. Official will come back over to talk all things clock related, but again, you're starting to see these two teams. You just don't know how they're going to play this game out because of the implications of a playoff game on Tuesday night. So do you show the other team your best stuff offensively, defensively? How hard do you push your starters? 8 seconds on the shot clock after they reset it. Gonzarowski had her shot blocked by Radford. It'll stay with Gustavus. They'll have 2 seconds to work with. Both of these teams very well coached. Lori Kelly, St. Thomas grad, Don Mulhern in his first season with St. Kate's. Two teams heading to the postseason. Pass comes in quickly, and they're going to call a foul against St. Kate's. Odo, her shot was no good, but a foul called against the Wildcats. It's going to go against Meg Clark. The foul against Clark is her first, and the first against St. Kate's here in the second quarter. Odo's first shot is good. And Gustavus has been very good from the free throw line. They're 4 of their first 4. Odo makes them both, surpassing her average of 3 points a game on the season. She's got 4. 4-point lead for Gustavus. Faustus, top of the key, will hand it off for Radford. She pulls Lee out to defend. Now Cambrise goes to work. Baseline drive, pulls it up. Shot is just a hair long, and rebound. Gonzarowski on a bounce, but St. Kate's ball. Gonzarowski, good freshman, getting plenty of playing time on this Gustie team. Starting her 17th game of the season, playing in her 25th, averaging 5 a game. Keep your eye on this youngster over the next few years in the MIAC. You can imagine your players like Faustus and Kurth and Torvik, they're going to see her over the next 4 years an awful lot in that backcourt for St. Kate's. And it was something I talked about with Don Mulhern. I thought our freshmen played very well against Augsburg at times. I thought in the fourth quarter there were a couple of moments where the freshmen really looked like freshmen, if you know what I mean. And Don Mulhern laughed. He said pressure is privilege, that you're lucky to be in that big game, which is true. But they really feel like those close games and those moments that you learn from as a young player in playing college basketball will greatly pay their dividends and then some over the next few years as you get back into those big games, closing out those big games. Here comes Faustus. Layup just long. Rebound Miller. Came right out to her, but Cambrise a steal in the backcourt. Down low, Faustus. Jump step. Header shot blocked by Miller. Gusty ball, and a foul is going to be called against Faustus. Faustus had her shot blocked. Lee came up with it and then got bumped by Faustus in the backcourt. 4 minutes into this second quarter. A foul against the freshman Faustus is her first. And the second against St. Kate's here in the second quarter. Gustavus hasn't been whistled yet for a foul. Swarak back to the bench. Faustus will join her. Nelson, Silman, Torvik, Kurth, and the what I'm sure will eventually be all MIAC honoree Donica Cambrise. Maybe even accolades beyond that. She is playing out of her mind right now. Ass layup short. Rebound, Thompson. Put back off. Cambrise the rebound, and that's got to be a foul in the backcourt. It is. We'll see if they caught Thompson with it. Instead, they'll say Miller. She was in there as well. First foul against Miller. First against the Gusties in the second quarter. Sometimes when you get that foul in the backcourt against a really good defensive team, you almost gulp if you're on the Wildcat bench, because You don't have Meg Clark on the floor. Torvik kind of becomes your de facto, and Kurth your point guards, and Silman as well. That one poked away from Kurth. Loose ball. Kurth chased it down. Got it for Nelson. The Gustie bench wanted to travel. They won't get that call. Cam Bryce off of the window, just beyond the free throw line. And Cam Bryce has a baker's dozen. Long pass ahead. The Gustavus got behind the defense. Justine Lee with 6 first half points. And it's 28-24. So Cam Bryce with another bucket. This one her luckiest of the afternoon as Silman got tied up and fouled. It was Odo and Anderson defending. They'll put the foul on Taylor Anderson, the junior out of Rogers. Anderson is a really good shooter. He just drew that foul. 41% on the season from beyond the arc. She's playing in her 25th game. So she's played in all but one game this season for Gustavus. Detman up top for Silman. No Cam Bryce on the floor. Silman an air ball. Kurth will heave it into the back of the glass. Out of bounds, Gustavus ball. This is the great challenge for Don Mulhern in any playoff matchup. It's going to be either Gustavus or Bethel. The question becomes when Cam Bryce either gets in foul trouble or goes to the bench for a breather, where does that offense come from? And if the Wildcats can get some offense without Cam Bryce on the floor, they're a dangerous team. Rice missed, got it back, went through 3 Wildcats and scored. You see the strength of Miranda Rice. She's in double digits with 10 points. So where does that scoring come from? Is it from Clark? Is it from Fosness, Kurth, Radford? Shot off, rebound Rice, and a foul is going to go against Jackie as she was going for the board. The foul against Radford, her first. And the third against St. Kate's. 4:31 left in the first quarter. So where does the offense come from? Just that quickly we won't find out because Cam Bryce is back out there. She played 37 minutes against the Augies on Wednesday night. And she can go. I mean, she's in great physical form, great stamina, so she can definitely play as many minutes as you can throw at her. Miss. Rebound Torvik and a foul against Gustavus. A foul is the first against Rice. Third foul against Gustavus. 4:17 left here in the first quarter. Once again, the email address, wildcatsbooth@gmail.com. Let us know who you're rooting for this afternoon. Meg Clark back in off of the bench. So now you've got your big guns out there if you're St. Kate's. Cam Bryce, Clark, and Radford. As Cam Bryce had it poked away by Rice, she somehow got it back. Got it to Fosness. Drives with the right hand, pushes off with the left, and gets called for it. Foul against Fosness on the offensive end. Her second. The foul's coming fast and furiously here in the second quarter. Second foul against the freshman Fosness. Tried so desperately to create a little space, threw that left hand up and drew the whistle. Rice has it. Now Anderson. Now Bolin. Back up top, swung back around by Thompson for Miller. Very dangerous player. She'll drive, scoop layup short. Cam Bryce has the rebound and jettisons it quickly for Radford. You always got to watch Miller off of a miss. She'll come and pick your pocket clean. Radford fouled on the floor. They'll say no shot. Fourth foul against Gustavus. And the foul's going to go against Taylor Anderson. Lori Kelly back to her bench. Justine Lee and Ava Gonzarowski come in. Gusties on top by 6, 30-24 the score. Radford didn't get it in time. 5 seconds called. A turnover for St. Kate's. Knew that was close. Knew she wanted to get it in for Cam Bryce, and Jackie just a second slow with it. Turns it over. Rice into the front court. Oh, again, Lee got behind the defense and scored. No good. Sat on the rim. Looked like it was going down. Shot missed. Kurth the rebound, and she was fouled. So a fortunate break for St. Kate's as they get the miss and they get the foul from Gabby Bolin. Fifth foul against Gustavus means the Wildcats will play the next 3 minutes and 22 seconds in the bonus. Every foul will result in 2 free throws as Kurth takes the long strut to the free throw line. 57% on the season for Morgan. Heavy clank on the front of the rim, but got the bounce and made her first. Second shot, same story. Big bounce off of the front iron and eventually finds its mark. 4 points for Kurth in the first half. Fosnes to the bench. Torvik will spell her and give Fosnes a breather. Now Rice in transition. Looks to crack the St. Kate's defense. Instead, long left-handed pass that finds Anzarowski. Well defended by Cambryce. Now Lee has it. Down low, Rice. Pass was a bit high. Kurth had it, and they're going to call Rice for a push. The pass was from Bolin was high. Rice went up for it. Kurth went up for it, and Rice pushed off. Second foul against Miranda Rice, and it'll send Kurth back to the free throw line, where she just made 2. Right off of that front iron. Chance for St. Kate's to cut into the lead. This one, nothing but net for Kurth. 5 points for Kurth, the freshman out of Hutchinson, 5'7". Rice to the bench. She'll get a breather. And the dangerous Michaela Miller back in, although she's been held pretty much in check in the first half. Just 4 points. She has it now, working it into that front court. Kicked outside. Lee will line up a 3. Might have been blocked. Cambryce comes up with the loose ball. Kurth closed out nicely defensively. Clark into the front court. Lost her dribble. Loose ball. Gusties have it. Odo comes up with it. Normally sure-handed Clark lost it. Now a pump fake. Gonzarowski drives and travels. Wildcat ball. And Lori Kelly back to her bench. Gonzarowski will take a breather, and Taylor Anderson back in. Dangerous offensively is Anderson. Now she defends the veteran Clark from Kenyon, Minnesota. Torvik down low, tried to get it to Clark, turned it over. Clark couldn't come up with it. Second time we've seen the Wildcats try to get that ball down low to Clark, and the passes have just been a hair off for Clark. I always get a kick out of it when you see Meg and, for that matter, Audra Clark. Long cross-court pass. Jackie couldn't quite pick that one off, but they just don't fulfill the normal cast of somebody, the stereotype of somebody who'd be a really good post player, but both of them are very dynamic under the basket as Michaela Miller lays it up and in. She has 6 points now. Both of them are really cagey down low, both of the Clarks in the post, and both can score it down there. Radford for Cambryce, left side, just off of the elbow. Tried to get it to Meg Clark, and again, just out of the reach. Offense just a little bit out of sync right now. Too many turnovers for St. Kate's. They're lucky to be only down 5. Gustavus hasn't been able to make those turnovers hurt. Torvik to the bench, Silman back in. But the Wildcats turning it over with a bit too much frequency right now. Lee, one dribble, shuffled her feet, got it away for Odo. Crossover, hands off. Miller, a three-pointer, knocked it down. And just as quickly as I said that the Wildcats had held Miller for the most part in check in the first half, she has 9 points. 35-27 lead for Gustavus. They led by 1 at the end of the first quarter. That lead has grown to 8. And now 60 seconds left in the first half. Cambryce to the basket, off of the window, off, Odo the rebound. Miller has it, and she went right by Silman. Pass into the front court, Lee, layup off, Radford the rebound. One thing St. Kate's has got to get straight if they have to go to St. Peter, Gus Young Court to play this team on Tuesday night is quit letting those fast breakers behind your defense. That pass is picked up. Miller in transition. Nice pass, bounce pass for Lee, who lays it up and in. Justine Lee, a name that the Wildcats very familiar with, from Dawson, scores. And going the other way with it, Cam Bryce has 15 first half points. Just 17 seconds left here in the first half. 37-29 to score. Cam Bryce a steal. A layup off. Silman got it. She was tied up and fouled. We're going to call the foul against Miller in the backcourt. Cam Bryce missed a wide open point blanker. And Michaela Miller fouls Silman. It'll send Silman, the freshman, to the free throw line for 2 free throws. So Silman to the line. First shot again. That front iron has been good for St. Kate's here in the first half. Silman on the board. As Don Mulhern and Ben Clark have a candid conversation in the background of these free throws. At backcourt, Kurth and Clark and company at times haven't gotten it going offensively here in the first half, but you know that they will. They got their hands full with those guards for Gustavus. 5 seconds left. Second free throw, no good. Into the front court. Miller lost it. Well defended. We'll give it a heave off of the window, and it's the end of the first half. Great end to the first half for St. Kate's. They closed it out playing very well defensively and got to the free throw line and did some damage there as well. Your score at the end of 20 minutes, Gustavus 37, St. Kate's 30. It's a 7-point game. I know there's going to be all kinds of stuff going on at halftime here, dance team and all kinds of other action as well. We'll carry that for you. We'll hear from our sponsors. We'll look back at the first 20 minutes. We'll look back at this great season that has seen the Wildcats heading to the playoffs here in 2017-2018. Don Mulhern's first season. So keep it tuned. It's halftime here at the Butler Center.
Providing innovative food and beverage solutions since 1955 is Midwest Vending. Servicing organizations large and small throughout the Twin Cities, including St. Catherine's University. Proud to offer unwavering integrity, in-demand products, innovative technology, and personal attention. Give them a call at 952-707-1990 or visit MidwestVending.com.
Hey Wildcat fans, friendly reminder to join us this year in supporting Wildcat Athletics and our sponsors, E&E Masonry, the Newman family, Becker Floors, ProTech Design, and Munchies Frozen Yogurt.
Twin Cities Orthopedics, offers a full spectrum of orthopedic care to individuals suffering sports-related problems and injuries. Their doctors are team physicians to the University of St. Catharines, Augsburg College, Hamline University, and others. Visit tcomn.com.
McGough Construction, building for the next generation. They have an unsurpassed reputation for quality workmanship, creative value engineering, and innovative solutions, delivering projects on time and on budget. At the heart of who they are, McGough Construction values the passion and commitment that drives their reputation for quality. Learn more at www.mcgough.com.
A reminder, tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by Goodmanson Construction, the Opus Group, People's Electric Co-op, and the Ryan Company. Go Cats!
Shapko Printing, a full-service print solution provider, producing the highest quality print communications, reliably and consistently to customers across the globe. Shapko has received numerous awards from a variety of prestigious organizations. Located at 1109 Zane Avenue North in Minneapolis. For more information or to contact us, check us out online, www.shapko.com.
On your way to or from the game or anytime, visit your area Little Caesars. There is one just off the St. Kate's campus at 635 Snelling Avenue South. Call ahead with your order, 651-699-5551. Providing innovative food and beverage solutions since 1955 is Midwest Vending. Servicing organizations large and small throughout the Twin Cities, including St. Catharines University. Proud to offer unwavering integrity, in-demand products, innovative technology, and personal attention. Give them a call at 952-707-1990 or visit MidwestVending.com.
Loeffler companies offer efficiency, flexibility, productivity, speed, and quality support for all of your office technology and service needs. From copiers, printers, and managed print services to phone systems, IT solutions, and much more. Contact Loeffler to learn more. Thank you, Loeffler, for your support of Wildcat Athletics.
In Minnesota, we golf differently. Sure, we count our birdies. And if you're lucky, an eagle. You can plan on a few mulligans in the land of 10,000 water hazards. If you can call Lake Superior a water hazard. And when the fairway turns into a deer crossing, well, that's just par for the course. So take the cart path less traveled. Only in Minnesota. Visit exploreminnesota.com.
Transporting Wildcat athletes is in the capable hands of Northfield Lines, Inc., dedicated to ensuring that your travel experience is a positive one. Call to request a quote or to make a reservation, 888-670-8068, or visit their website, northfieldlines.com.
Twin Cities Orthopedics offers a full spectrum of orthopedic care to individuals suffering sports-related problems and injuries. Their doctors are team physicians to St. Catharines University, Augsburg College, Hamline University, and others, from the pros to college and high school, and beyond to the weekend athlete as well, the weekend warrior. Visit tcomn.com.
Klein Nissan, your home for new and used Nissans, serving the entire Twin Cities area from Maplewood. And when your new or used vehicle needs auto service or car repair, visit them at 3090 Highway 61 North. Klein Nissan. Thanks for letting us prove our passion and dedication to the Nissan brand.
Hey Wildcat fans, Matt Nelson back with you, and I want to remind you that if you're enjoying today's game, to check out some of the great sponsors of St. Kate's Athletics. They not only make tonight's broadcast possible, but they also enhance the student-athlete experience at St. Catharines University. Twin Cities Orthopedics, Universal Athletics, Northfield Lines, Midwest Vending, Best Western in Bloomington, Cone Elevators and Escalators, Klein Nissan, U.S. Bank, Jimmy John's, Loeffler Business Solutions, McGough Construction, Shapko Printing, the Hickey Family, Eckberg and Lammers, Attorneys at Law, the DLR Group, Daddy and Gardner, Attorneys at Law, E&E Masonry, the Newman Family, Becker Floors, Protect Design, Munchie's Frozen Yogurt, Goodmanson Construction, the Opus Group, People's Electric Co-op, and the Ryan Company. Go Cats!
Helping to support Wildcat athletics is Abbott Paint and Carpet, a family-owned and run company with the experience and knowledge to help you with your paint and decorating projects, with locations in St. Paul, White Bear Lake, and Stillwater. Online at abbottpaint.com. Keep up with the activities of TJ Broadcast Services on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at TJ Sports Online.
Hey Wildcat fans, friendly reminder to join us this year in supporting Wildcat athletics and our sponsors, E&E Masonry, the Newman family, Becker Floors, ProTech Design, and Munchies Frozen Yogurt.
Twin Cities Orthopedics offers a full spectrum of orthopedic care to individuals suffering sports-related problems and injuries. Their doctors are team physicians to the University of St. Catharines, Augsburg College, Hamline University, and others. Visit tcomn.com.
McGough Construction, building for the next generation. They have an unsurpassed reputation for quality workmanship, creative value engineering, and innovative solutions, delivering projects on time and on budget. At the heart of who they are, McGough Construction values the passion and commitment that drives their reputation for quality. Learn more at www.mcgough.com.
A reminder, tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by Goodmanson Construction, the Opus Group, People's Electric Co-op, and the Ryan Company. Go Cats!
Shapko Printing, a full-service print solution provider, producing the highest quality print communications, reliably and consistently to customers across the globe. Shapko has received numerous awards from a variety of prestigious organizations. Located at 1109 Zane Avenue North in Minneapolis. For more information or to contact us, check us out online, www.shapko.com.
On your way to or from the game or anytime, visit your area Little Caesars. There is one just off the St. Kate's campus at 635 Snelling Avenue South. Call ahead with your order, 651-699-5551. Providing innovative food and beverage solutions since 1955 is Midwest Vending. Servicing organizations large and small throughout the Twin Cities, including St. Catharines University. Proud to offer unwavering integrity, in-demand products, innovative technology, and personal attention. Give them a call at 952-707-1990 or visit MidwestVending.com.
Loeffler Companies offer efficiency, flexibility, productivity, speed, and quality support for all of your office technology and service needs. From copiers, printers, and managed print services to phone systems, IT solutions, and much more. Contact Loeffler to learn more. Thank you, Loeffler, for your support of Wildcat Athletics.
In Minnesota, we golf differently. Sure, we count our birdies. And if you're lucky, an eagle. You can plan on a few mulligans in the land of 10,000 water hazards. If you can call Lake Superior a water hazard. And when the fairway turns into a deer crossing, well, that's just par for the course. So take the cart path less traveled. Only in Minnesota. Visit exploreminnesota.com.
Transporting Wildcat athletes is in the capable hands of Northfield Lines, Inc., dedicated to ensuring that your travel experience is a positive one. Call to request a quote or to make a reservation, 888-670-8068, or visit their website, northfieldlines.com.
Twin Cities Orthopedics offers a full spectrum of orthopedic care to individuals suffering sports-related problems and injuries. Their doctors are team physicians to St. Catharines University, Augsburg College, Hamline University, and others, from the pros to college and high school and beyond to the weekend athlete as well, the weekend warrior. Visit tcomn.com.
Klein Nissan, your home for new and used Nissans, serving the entire Twin Cities area from Maplewood. And when your new or used vehicle needs auto service or car repair, visit them at 3090 Highway 61 North. Klein Nissan. Thanks for letting us prove our passion and dedication to the Nissan brand.
Hey Wildcat fans, Matt Nelson back with you, and I want to remind you that if you're enjoying today's game, to check out some of the great sponsors of St. Kate's Athletics. They not only make tonight's broadcast possible, but they also enhance the student-athlete experience at St. Catharines University. Twin Cities Orthopedics, Universal Athletics, Northfield Lines, Midwest Vending, Best Western in Bloomington, Cone Elevators and Escalators, Klein Nissan, U.S. Bank, Jimmy John's, Loeffler Business Solutions, McGough Construction, Shapko Printing, the Hickey Family, Eckberg and Lammers, attorneys at law. The DLR Group, Daddy and Gardner, attorneys at law. E&E Masonry, the Newman family, Becker Floors, ProTech Design, Munchie's Frozen Yogurt, Goodmanson Construction, the Opus Group, People's Electric Co-op, and the Ryan Company. Go Cats!
Helping to support Wildcat athletics is Abbott Paint and Carpet, a family-owned and run company with the experience and knowledge to help you with your paint and decorating projects, with locations in St. Paul, White Bear Lake, and Stillwater. Online at abbottpaint.com. Keep up with the activities of TJ Broadcast Services on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at TJ Sports Online.
In a crackling fire, it's there, bubbling at the headwaters of the Mississippi, glowing inside the canvas walls of a yurt, basking by the lake at one of Minnesota's classic resorts, tuning its strings, taking the stage 1,000 feet below the earth in an underground state park, and whispering through the trees at Tetagooch. It's magic, and it's waiting to be discovered, only in Minnesota. Visit exploreminnesota.com.
Hungry before or after the game? Visit one of the 27 locations of Noodles & Company around the metro area. For menu, hours, locations, and online ordering, go to noodles.com. Twin Cities Orthopedics offers a full spectrum of orthopedic care to individuals suffering sports-related problems and injuries. Their doctors are team physicians to the University of St. Catharines, Augsburg College, Hamline University, and others. Visit tcomn.com.
And we bring you back into St. Paul in the Butler Center. Wildcat basketball back on the air as we get ready for the second half. Our engineer is the hard-working and handsome Glenn Thompson. That's right. And I'm Ben Nelson, so happy to spend a part of my weekend with you here in what is our final broadcast from the Butler Center. Glenn, can you imagine such a thing? Our final broadcast. Seems like just yesterday we were in here early in the fall, probably around Labor Day, with Wildcat volleyball. And here we are. It's February. And we're heading towards March Madness and the MIAC's postseason as we get back to work with the shot clock reset, getting things underway here. The first half stats for Gustavus, they were led by Miranda Rice, 5 of 6 from the floor. They'll sort out the clock downstairs, but Gustavus, I mentioned Rice with 10 points, 5 boards, 5 of 6 from the floor, right in her heels. Michaela Miller had 9. Justine Lee had 8 as well for Gustavus. They were just 1 of 6 shooting beyond the arc, 16 of 39 from the floor. They did out-rebound St. Kate's by a pretty wide margin, 24-17. The Wildcats shoot 42% in the first half, 50% from downtown. They were 2 of 4. Got 15 points from Cambryce, but turned it over way too much. They turned it over 14 times. So, on pace for just under 30 turnovers against a team as good as Gustavus is. That's not a winning recipe as Fosness knocks it down. Ashley Fosness hits a three-pointer. She has 5 points for number 5. And the Wildcats trail it by 4 as we are underway. Nothing to open up a second half like a big 3 for the home team. 37-33, the new score. And Gustavus with the basketball, leading. Rice down low, easy layup. She is a handful and has a dozen points. 39-33, new score. Less than a minute into the second half. On the out-of-town scoreboard, St. Mary's up by 9 in the mid. They're actually at home. 28-19 your score as Hamline only manages 19 first half points. So that does affect the Wildcats in their playoff seeding. They would need a win and a St. Mary's loss to move up to the 5 seed. Clark around a screen from Radford, trying to get it to Cambryce and had it stolen away by Rice. The turnovers continue for St. Kate's. That's their 15th. That one nearly airmailed into the corner, but Lee comes down with it. Gonzarowski up top, Rice, high-low action. Miller goes down low for Lee. One dribble, kicks outside. Gonzarowski knocks down a three-pointer. So the Wildcats get one And Gustavus gets one. 9-point lead, 42-33. Meg Clark into the front court, guarded by the youngster Gonzarowski. Fosness guarded by Rice. Got to be a mismatch down low somewhere or another. Fosness lost it, stolen away. Miller with nothing but air in front of her puts Gustavus up by 11 and draws a timeout. Timeout taken by Gustavus. They're up 44-33, 2 minutes into the second half. And so far in the third quarter, it's been just about all Gustavus. You're listening to Wildcat Basketball.
Shapco Printing, a full-service print solution provider, producing the highest quality print communications, reliably and consistently to customers across the globe. Shapco has received numerous awards from a variety of prestigious organizations. Located at 1109 Zane Avenue North in Minneapolis. For more information or to contact us, check us out online, www.shapco.com.
On your way to or from the game or anytime, visit your area Little Caesars. There is one just off the St. Kate's campus at 635 Snelling Avenue South. Call ahead with your order, 651-699-5551.
Bring it back into the Butler Center, 44-33 the score. Gustavus on top coming out of the timeout. Wildcats will stick with that same five. Actually, Torvik's in with Radford and Fosness, Cam Bryce, and Meg Clark. Fosness had it, lost it, stolen away. Another turnover out of the timeout. Miller is fouled by Ashley Fosness and will go to the free throw line to shoot two. Third foul against Fosness sends Miller to the free throw line. Very good free throw shooter, to say the least. 84% on the season and gets there a lot. Her shot's good. 10 points for Miller. 16.5 per game. She's got 10 now. Joining Rice in double digits scoring for Gustavus. Starting her 21st game this season is Miller. And she goes 2 of 2 from the line. Two very good seniors, Miller and Rice. And Gustavus will go as far as those two take them in the playoffs. Radford for Cam Bryce. Driving, spinning on Rice. And Cam Bryce traveled. They'll say that she picked up that pivot foot and the Wildcats turn it over. Just way too many turnovers against a team as good as Gustavus. You really can't give a team like Gustavus too many free chances. And if the Wildcats play them at Gus Young Court on Tuesday night, keep your eyes on turnovers. Loose ball scooped up, and now Silman does a nice job to tie up Gonzarowski. Gonzarowski would have done well to just box out Silman and let the ball roll out of bounds. It was definitely last touched by Radford. Instead, she picks it up, got tied up, but it'll stay with Gustavus. Miller guarded by Radford, who typically guards the other team's best player. She steps back and knocks one down right at Jackie. Miller has 13 points. Leads all Gustavus scores. Cam Bryce leading all scores in the game with 15. 48-33 with 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Here comes Torvik, baseline, driving, kicking. Meg Clark, pump fake, drive, and a foul. It's going to be called as Meg Clark hits the floor. The foul against Miller is her third for the senior. And it'll get the Wildcats a fresh shot clock. On the out-of-town scoreboard on the women's basketball side of the ledger, they're starting the third quarter in Moorhead, and Concordia is all over St. Olaf. A really long year for Dave Strami and his Oles. 41-17 the score there. Cobbers on top. Oles look destined to finish 1-17 this year in conference play. Gonzarowski into the corner. Rice driving through a double team. Layup long. Rebound tipped around and eventually finds the hands of Jackie Radford. So the Cobbs all over the Oles. St. Mary's up by 9 at halftime. And over at Cy Melby Hall, a meaningless game for these two teams, but the Augies up 35-33 against McAllister. Loose ball, and Lee had her foot on the baseline when she pounced down the ball. Lori Kelly wanted a timeout, but clearly Lee's leg was out of bounds when she jumped on the loose ball. So Wildcats will have it with 9 seconds on the shot clock. So here we go, 8 seconds to work with. Torvik for Radford at the free throw line. She steps back, pump fake. Clark, long three-pointer, is an air ball, and it's Gustavus ball. It's been a long day at the office for Meg Clark. She's been held scoreless and has turned it over a couple of times. And Gustavus pays back the favor with a turnover of their own. But I don't know if you could like a couple of basketball players much more if you're a basketball fan than those two Clarks. Tough as nails and very good out there. Same can be said for Jackie. Strumke in for the first time off of Don Mulhern's bench. Caitlin Strumke playing in her 23rd game this season. 48-33 the score. 5:43 left in the third quarter. Wildcats trailed by 1 at the end of the first quarter, trailed by 7 at the half. Cam Bryce driving, scoring, and fouled. 17 points for Cam Bryce. And Donica to the free throw line, a chance at a three-point play. The foul against Odo is her first, the second against Gustavus in the third quarter. Cam Bryce, though, misses the free throw. Cam Bryce, pretty good from the free throw line, 69%. Solid C, if you were grading. Anderson, one dribble. Now down low with it. Rice was stripped by Cam Bryce, and a foul against Strumke. As heading up for the layup off of the bench was Gabby Bolin. The foul again will go against Strumke, and it'll send Bolin to the free throw line. Bolin with 2 points on the afternoon. And Bolin misses the first. One thing about Gustavus is they're very good at shooting the three, but obviously down low with Rice and Miller and the depth that they have, they can beat you inside and outside. Right now, 48-35 the score. One more free throw coming from Bolin when we come back. 5:13 to go in the third quarter, and Gustavus by a baker's dozen.
Shapco Printing, a full-service print solution provider producing the highest quality print communications, reliably and consistently to customers across the globe. Shapco has received numerous awards from a variety of prestigious organizations. Located at 1109 Zane Avenue North in Minneapolis. For more information or to contact us, check us out online, www.shapco.com.
On your way to or from the game or anytime, visit your area Little Caesars. There is one just off the St. Kate's campus at 635 Snelling Avenue South. Call ahead with your order, 651-699-5551.
All right, we'll send Bolin back to the free throw line as we welcome you back in to St. Paul. Again, there was playoff seeding on the line in this game, but as it stands right now, it looks like Gustavus will hold on to that third seed. Now, it was worth noting a loss and a Bethel win would have put these two teams in a tie. But right now, still lots of game left. But a win, long story made longer, if Gustavus finds a way to hold on to this lead against St. Kate's, barring a nice comeback, as a foul's going to be called against the Gusties as Skwarek was fouled under the basket, will lock them into the third seed. St. Thomas, 17-0 in the MIAC. St. Ben's, great year at 16-1 as Strumke lost it. Jump ball. Gustavus, Bethel, St. Mary's, and St. Kate's. And who would have thought Augsburg, after making the playoffs last year with their very good young team, would miss the postseason? I know, took that one as a surprise. Silman off of the window. Not a surprise that Wednesday's game went the way it did. I thought St. Kate's was more than capable of winning that game, but surprised that Augsburg struggled down the stretch. Odo slicing through the defense. Had her shot blocked by Strumke. Nice D off of the bench by Strumke. Torvik in the front court, guarded by Rice, who has good speed for a post player. Skwarek goes to her right. Wildcats have played much better in this meeting between these two teams than they did on January 20th when they were blown out. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Torvik got to go to the basket, heaves it up, and they're going to call a block. So a foul against Gustavus. Odo would be called for the block. They'll say it was before the shot. Odo called for her second. And Radford back in. Clark as well. Clark will come in for Torvik, and Jackie will give Donica a breather. This is the part of the game that you just wonder, 49-37, you still got 14 minutes of basketball left, that you might want to, 5 minutes from now, you may have a chance to reassess in your regular season finale just how much you want to show Gustavus, and if you want to find some valuable rest time for your more overused players. Because if this final holds true, as Clark is on the board, nice scoop layup by Meg Clark. But if this result holds out and Gustavus wins, then these two teams will play on Tuesday at Gus Young Court in St. Peter. The scene of the crime back on the 20th of January. That's how the Wildcats get blown out. Steal by Radford. Wildcats still down just by 10 with loads of time left. Silman to her left hand, driving into the lane. Nice left-handed layup just off. And a rebound, Gustavus. They'll push the pace ahead with Lee. Both teams have gone a bit dormant offensively here. Rice, double team, kicked it outside. That's Lee with it. Up top she goes with Kendall Thompson. Thompson averages 10 a game. She's stuck at 2. Now Anderson, pull it up. That shot's long. And rebound, Gustavus. Tried to get it for Thompson. She lost it. Lee comes up with it. And Gustavus can hit the reset button with 23 seconds left on the shot clock. Lee had it poked away. Couldn't haul it back in. It's St. Kate's ball. Miller and Gonzarowski back in off of the bench. Cam Bryce or St. Kate's will come in. 2:53 left in this third quarter. (49-39). Clark pump fake, drive, got to the rack, layup too strong. Cam Bryce rebound, putback is just off. Clark got wiped out underneath the basket, and here come the Gusties in transition, pushing the pace. Again, you just wonder, lots of miles on those wheels for Clark as Rice is fouled and one. Layup good, and Rice to the free throw line, a chance at a three-point play. You just wonder how hard do you push your veteran player like a Clark, who seemingly is always beat up, who you desperately need to have a huge game on Tuesday night. How much rest can you get him here with this game quickly getting a little bit lopsided towards Gustavus? Rice has 15 points. It's a 52-39 Gustavus lead. There goes Clark to the floor again. Miller a steal and a score. 15 points for Michaela Miller. And again, Silman trapped. She turns it over. Gustavus is pulling away. Clark got it back. That was poked free. St. Kate's lost right now in the backcourt. Radford has it, charges into the front court. Drops a dime on Silman. Woo! That was some pass by Radford running full steam, and she put it right on the 22 of Silman, who was also running as hard as she could. Made life easy for Bailey going to the basket. Radford, one of the prettiest dimes I've seen all year long. That was some assist. And it came off of some chaos in the backcourt. Open three, Lee. Short, rebound, Cam Bryce. Poked away by Miller, loose ball. Strumke and Miller diving for it, and it's Wildcats ball. Fosness back in. Odo as well. .90 seconds left here in the third quarter. We'll check the out-of-town scoreboard again when we get a chance. Over the head of Radford, saved by Silman, right into the hands of Miller. She puts her head up, finds Lee, who scores. Fosness the only chance for a stop, and Lee ends up finishing it off. She's got 10 points. Now going the other way with it. Silman got free and was fouled. Will go to the line to shoot 2. Layup no good, but Silman to the line. On the out-of-town scoreboard, Concordia again, they're up 20 with 6 minutes left in the third quarter, 43-23 in that one. St. Mary's leads by 10 as Silman's first free throw is good. St. Mary's 39-29 advantage over Hamlin. There's 2:53 left in the third quarter there. St. Thomas in a battle of what could very well be a postseason preview, maybe of the MIAC finals in women's basketball. St. Thomas is up 44-33. Both of those teams will get byes in the first round of the playoffs. So once again, it's halftime over at St. Thomas. They're the home team in that one, and they're up 44-33 over the Blazers. Silman will go to the bench. I thought she played very well in that last stretch of basketball. 56-43. Odo for Miller. Wide open three-pointer. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Cannot leave Michaela Miller that open. She's got 18 points. 59-43, a 16-point lead for the Gusties. Radford for Cam Bryce. She'll take a look and survey. Radford in the post, one-on-one. Shot might have been blocked by Lee. It was well defended, and Cam Bryce got away with one in the backcourt as Miller has it. Cam Bryce got entangled with Gonzarowski, and Gustavus is going to take a timeout. Lori Kelly wanted a foul on Cam Bryce, doesn't get it. She'll take a timeout instead. We'll do the same. 59-43, Gustavus on top.
Loeffler Companies offer efficiency, flexibility, productivity, speed, and quality support for all of your office technology and service needs. From copiers, printers, and managed print services to phone systems, IT solutions, and much more. Contact Loeffler to learn more. Thank you, Loeffler, for your support of Wildcat Athletics.
In Minnesota, we golf differently. Sure, we count our birdies. And if you're lucky, an eagle. You can plan on a few mulligans in the land of 10,000 water hazards. If you can call Lake Superior a water hazard. And when the fairway turns into a deer crossing, well, that's just par for the course. So take the cart path less traveled. Only in Minnesota. Visit exploreminnesota.com.
Out of the timeout, Lori Kelly had a nice long conversation with our officials. She wanted that foul on Cam Bryce in the backcourt. 23 seconds left on the game clock here in the third quarter. 15 on the shot clock now. Odo just inside of the arc. Radford's there waiting for her. Good shooting. Anderson has it in the corner. Now Miller. Gonzarowski for the Gusties. Back up top. Miller, another three and another make. Michaela Miller has 21 points. She has caught fire in the second half. Radford, last second shot is off as Cam Bryce and Miller wrestled their way into the front court. Let's keep our eyes on that in the fourth quarter. 62-43, Gustavus in firm control of this one here in St. Paul. You're listening to Wildcat Basketball.
Transporting Wildcat athletes is in the capable hands of Northfield Lines, Inc., dedicated to ensuring that your travel experience is a positive one. Call to request a quote or to make a reservation. 888-670-8068 or visit their website, northfieldlines.com.
Twin Cities Orthopedics offers a full spectrum of orthopedic care to individuals suffering sports-related problems and injuries. Their doctors are team physicians to St. Catherine University, Augsburg College, Hamlin University, and others. From the pros to college and high school and beyond to the weekend athlete as well. The Weekend Warrior. Visit tcomn.com.
Klein Nissan, your home for new and used Nissans, serving the entire Twin Cities area from Maplewood. And when your new or used vehicle needs auto service or car repair, visit them at 3090 Highway 61 North. Klein Nissan. Thanks for letting us prove our passion and dedication to the Nissan brand.
Well, I was curious here starting this fourth quarter how Don Mulhern would play it. He'll send out his starting five with his team down by 19 with 10 minutes to go. I just look at a couple of these players and the way that they play, Radford and Clark especially, and I just can't imagine after a long season of 24, this will be the 25th game that I mean, you get that shot of adrenaline in the playoffs, and I understand that, but there can't be a whole lot of tread left on those tires, if you know what I'm saying, because they both play really hard. And they're going to stick with them here, though, and try to take another run at Gustavus on Tuesday night. Right now, though, with the starters back out there, St. Kate's playing to try to make one more run and get back into this thing. Fosness has it. Clark gives it a clap and gets the basketball. Meg directing traffic. Looking for Cambryce, who's guarded well. Meg found Radford and had it poked away. And Miller squeezed by her, but Cambryce got it back for Clark, who's going to get an easy layup. Clark scores after the Cambryce steal. Meg Clark has 4. Makes it 62-45. Again, if this score holds, these two teams will meet for the third time this season Tuesday night in the first round of the MIAC's playoffs in St. Peter. Down low, and a travel is going to be called as Odo went backing into the lane. A senior called for the travel, and Rice will come back in. So both teams sticking with their best players as Odo goes back to the bench and Miranda Rice comes back in. Really, though, for Gustavus, to me, it's as simple as it's just Miller and Rice. I mean, if you want to win this conference tournament, you're going to need huge games from those two every time out, and they've given them that all season long, both averaging more than 16 a game. Lee with a steal. Just 1-on-2, 2-on-1 as Miller gets the dime from Lee and finishes it off. Miller, a huge night, 23 points. First meeting between these two. Rice led all scorers with 18. Open 3, and Clark knocks it down. Meg Clark gets a 3. She has 7 points. But again, Wildcats have done a little bit better job in transition, but a couple of times Gustavus has just been able to sneak in behind that defense. And they're going to say that was last touched by Miller, so they'll say Wildcat ball. 8:05 left. So whether an opponent will have an impact on whether we can bring you the home broadcast for the Wildcats as Radford marches in, lays one in, and has a chance at a three-point play. Count the bucket for Jackie. The foul against Anderson is her third and sends Jackie to the free throw line with the Wildcats down by 14. So Radford to the line on the season. Jackie has been a 60% free throw shooter, averaging 8 and 7. And Jackie gets her three-point play. She's in double digits with 10. Joining Cambryce, who's got 17, but has only had 2 here in the second half. Had 15 in the first half and had a big first quarter as well. Trying to get it to Rice, did Bolin, but a turnover. Clark into the front court. She'll back it out now. Silman looked for Cambridge. She was well guarded by Rice. Pump fake. Jackie lost the defender and laid it off of the window. Radford has a dozen points, and suddenly it's a game. Wildcats down just by 11 with 7:25 to go, and a timeout taken. Gustavus takes the timeout, up by 11. You're listening to Wildcat basketball. 7:23 to go from the Butler Center.
In Minnesota, we golf differently. Sure, we count our birdies. And if you're lucky, an eagle. You can plan on a few mulligans in the land of 10,000 water hazards. If you can call Lake Superior a water hazard. And when the fairway turns into a deer crossing, well, that's just par for the course. So take the cart path less traveled. Only in Minnesota. Visit exploreminnesota.com.
Transporting Wildcat athletes is in the capable hands of Northfield Lines, Inc., dedicated to ensuring that your travel experience is a positive one. Call to request a quote or to make a reservation. 888-670-8068 or visit their website, northfieldlines.com.
Bring you back into the Butler Center on TJSportsOnline.net's coverage of Wildcat athletics, volleyball, basketball. Has there been any hockey mixed in there this year, Mr. Glenn? Wildcat hockey, is that, have we made our way over there yet this year? Okay, so volleyball and basketball this season, and boy, we have a lot of fun with it. No doubt about that, and how could you not have fun with this basketball team finding its way into the postseason? Down low, Rice really had good position on Cambryce, but missed the layup. Skwarak had the rebound and wouldn't be denied. She'll march it into the front court and hand it off for Meg Clark. I would be lying if I said that I saw this group as a playoff team at the start of the year. What do you think of that? Radford down low is fouled, and Jackie will go back to the free throw line. Wildcats very much in this game, with Jackie heading to the free throw line. That's right.
At the start of the year, I think your quote was, they'll win some games.
There you go. See? That's a... Glenn said my prediction at the beginning of the year was that they'll win some games, which is a good hedge. But Radford's first was good. I did think they were good enough to win a lot of games in the conference. I thought with Audra Clark and Cambryce and Radford and Meg, as well as some good, some very good freshmen. As Radford goes 2-2. Good trip to the line for Jackie. She's got 14 points. But with a first-year head coach, albeit a very good, experienced one, and losing the players that they lost in last year's senior class, and just what I thought was an impression of a pretty good middle of the pack in the MIAC, I was little worried that this team might not be able to find their way into being one of those top 6 teams. But those thoughts all kind of went away for me when they played Northwestern early in a non-conference game. Down low, Rice fouled by Fosness, and Ashley's piling up the fouls. That's her 4th. Because Northwestern, non-conference game, but they had a pretty good year last year. They went to the NCAAs, and the Wildcats dispatched them like it was nothing. And so right off the bat, you knew that, well, if, they're going to be good enough to definitely contend. Rice knocks it down. But to qualify for the playoffs without the services of Audra Clark, who got hurt, Garcia's missed time, Cambryce missed time. If there was one thing it didn't look like the team had a whole lot of, it was depth. And they've been able to find the depth to make this run late in the season. I mean, who saw it coming? The Wildcats have won 3 straight and 4 out of their last 5, for crying out loud. Unbelievable stretch, playing their best when it's mattered most. Silman to the rack. That layup off. Odo, the rebound. Now, in fairness, I definitely thought they could be somewhere around 500, which is where they're going to wind up. And it just so happened that the cookie crumbled just right, that the bottom half of the MIAC had a terrible year, and the top teams were able to just beat them up for wins, and the Wildcats got enough of those to qualify. Shot clock running down. Lee's shot short. Silman had it and lost it, and they'll say a shot clock violation. St. Kate's ball trailing by 11. The Wildcats very much hanging in there. 5:33 left in the game. Cambryce to the basket, left-handed layup. As Odo couldn't slow down Cambryce. She has 19 points, 4 in the second half. And the deficit is back down to single digits as Clark pokes it out of the hands of Lee. Out of bounds, but it'll stay on this side with Gustavus. Mention the losses for Gustavus. 2 of them to an undefeated St. Thomas team. 1 to St. Ben's, who's only lost once. They're in second place, and once to Bethel, who finds themselves as the 4th seed. So they've only lost to 4 and up in the MIAC. They haven't lost to a team lower than the 4th seed in the conference. So what that means is Miller steals one from Radford. Jackie's going to have to chase her down. She can't quite get there. Miller walks it down and scores. Miller has 25 points to lead all scores. The lead back to 11 for Gustavus. Clark going the other way, got fouled, and will go to the line to shoot 2. Odo called for the foul, her 3rd. And Meg to the free throw line. Good free throw shooter. So, if the Wildcats are going to find their way into the second round of the playoffs and beat Gustavus or whoever it is that they play on Tuesday night, if it is Gustavus, they'll have to do something that Gustavus hasn't seen done to them all season long as Clark misses her first, and that is lose to a team lower than fourth in the conference. Clark knocks down her second. She goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Big Wildcat fans listening. They write into wildcatsbooth@gmail.com. Morgan and Addison Nelson, they're listening in Vadnais Heights. Big Wildcat fans, these two. And they're tuning in and they want to see a Wildcat comeback here with the Cats down by 10 with 4:34 to go. Cambrai guarding Odo. Now Miller, who leads all scorers with 25. Anderson got it down low for Miller, who just keeps pouring it on. 27 now for Miller, who had 16 in the first game between these two back on January 20th. That was a blowout. This hasn't been, although it's teetering right on the edge of that for most of this second half. Skwarek missed, got it back, missed again, rebound Miller. And Miller had a notion to give it a big right-handed heave to get it to Rice into the front court. Skwarek blocked her, though, and it even got a grin out of Miller, and a foul's going to be called now against Meg Clark as she got tangled with Bolin in the corner. The foul against Clark, who's never been afraid of a little contact out there on the court, is her second, and the second against St. Kate's with their team down by a dozen. 70-58 the score. Gustavus with the lead in the rock. Miller drives baseline, got through a double team and scored off of the window. She has 29 points. Leading all scorers by a wide margin. Second in the game is Cambrai with 19. She's averaged 30 a game her last two. Actually has been right on 30 a game. Clark couldn't finish the layup. Wildcats down by 14 and running out of possessions. 3:24 left in the game. Rice wide open if she wants the three. Instead, will dish for Anderson, who had it poked away by Clark, but it'll stay on this end with Gustavus. Across town, let's see, Augsburg just across the river. They're tied 57-57 with McAllister over in Minneapolis. Just up the block, St. Thomas finds themselves in a close one, 49-42 the score with 2:14 to go in the third quarter. And the Tommies are up 52-44 now, just updated. So the Tommies up by 8 as Rice knocks one down. She is very good. Those two seniors, they are a handful, Rice and Miller. Miller now at 19. They've got 48 between them. Cambrai had her shot blocked. Fosness is there to clean it up. Lays it up and in. Fosness with 7 points. 2:44 to go, and St. Kate's will take a timeout. We'll see if the Cats have one more push left in them. From St. Paul, you're listening to Wildcat Basketball. Right now, Gustavus 74, St. Kate's 60.
Twin Cities Orthopedics offers a full spectrum of orthopedic care to individuals suffering sports-related problems and injuries. Their doctors are team physicians to St. Catherine University, Augsburg College, Hamlin University, and others, from the pros to college and high school and beyond to the weekend athlete as well. The Weekend Warrior. Visit tcomn.com.
Welcome you back into the Butler Center in St. Paul. We've got 2:44 to go. Gustavus looks destined right now to lock up the third seed in the MIAC's playoffs and host sixth-seeded St. Kate's on Tuesday night at Gus Young Court. 2:42 left. Gustavus with the ball, but they turned it over. Radford picked it off. Cambrai had it and got fouled. We'll see. Bolin looked like was the one who initiated the contact, and the freshman from Winona called for her second. Fresh shot clock in the ball for St. Kate's. Thompson to the bench along with Anderson. Gonzarowski comes in along with Lee. Miller, Rice, and Bolin, who has just called for the foul. Meg Clark has it, spinning inside, top of the key, just inside of the arc. Now Torvik drives, lost her footing, got bumped. Looked like she initiated some of the contact herself, but instead Gonzarowski is going to be called for her first foul, the freshman out of Esco. 2:31 left now, and the foul will put, I can't imagine they're going to call that a shooting foul. Right now they set up for free throws. They've got 3 fouls against Gustavus in the fourth quarter up on the board right now. They're going to come over to the scorers table and check that out. Now they got it squared away, so they're going to say shooting foul. No, now they've got 5 fouls up on the board against Gustavus, so it is a bonus situation, not a shooting foul, but the 5th foul against Gustavus sends Torvik to the line to shoot 2. Very good free throw shooter, 87% on the year. And that's her first point of the afternoon, just averages 1.5 a game. But invaluable experience in this her freshman season, 25 games off of the bench for Torvik. And she goes 2 of 2 from the line. If you can get her there, she's really good from the stripe. Silman in, Torvik to the bench, along with Fosness, Clark, Radford, and Cambrois to defend. Down by 14, 2:31 to go. Now again, the work at the scorers table has been a work in progress in this one. The officials have been over for plenty of conversations. Yeah, and I don't blame both teams for keeping a close watch on the scoreboard. Miller into the front court, staring at a double team, so she jettisons it backwards for Gonzarowski into the corner. Rice. Miller 3 was off the whole way, but she got her own rebound. Silman forced to defend. Nobody there to clean up the miss for St. Kate's. The MIAC women's playoffs in basketball get underway on Tuesday night. St. Thomas and St. Ben's, who are playing today. And it looks like the Tommies have pulled away late in the third quarter. We'll have byes in the first round. Gustavus will host what looks like it's going to be the 6th seed, St. Kate's. And Bethel will play host to St. Mary's. St. Mary's lives and dies with the 3 ball, so you never know when you draw the Cardinals. Really just all depends on how they're shooting the 3. St. Mary's will clinch the 5th seed with a win today at home against Hamlin, and with 51 seconds left, Cambrois' first free throw is good. 51 seconds left out there in Winona. It is a 11-point lead for St. Mary's, so barring something very strange, St. Mary's is going to lock in as the 5th seed as Cambrois misses her second, but the Wildcats got the rebound. Silman knocked down a 3-pointer. It's a 3 for Silman, who has 7 points. And the Wildcats take a timeout. They trail just by 8 after the 3 by Silman. A 4-point possession for St. Kate's and a timeout on the floor. There's 1:42 to go. You're listening to Wildcat Basketball.
McGough Construction, building for the next generation. They have an unsurpassed reputation for quality workmanship, creative value engineering, and innovative solutions, delivering projects on time and on budget. At the heart of who they are, McGough Construction values the passion and commitment that drives their reputation for quality. Learn more at www.mcgough.com.
A reminder, tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by Goodmanson Construction, the Opus Group, People's Electric Co-op, and the Ryan Company. Go Cats!
Shapco Printing, a full-service print solution provider, producing the highest quality print communications, reliably and consistently to customers across the globe. Shapco has received numerous awards from a variety of prestigious organizations. Located at 1109 Zane Avenue North in Minneapolis. For more information or to contact us, check us out online, www.shapco.com.
Yeah, big thanks to all of the sponsors all season long of Wildcat volleyball and basketball here at the Butler Center. 74-66 the score. Gustavus with the basketball with 1:42 to go. They'll have to go the length of the court. They'll inbound to the left of the Wildcat basket. And Miller trapped in the corner, and she traveled. The Wildcats That was a beauty of a defensive effort out of a timeout. They forced Miller into a turnover. And 3 seconds the game clock came off of the scoreboard. So you only waste 3 seconds and you get the ball back. Radford will inbound. Got it to Fosness, who went way over the defender to get it. She'll pull it up inside of the rack. Shot no good. Cambryce deflects for Radford into the corner. She got tangled up with her head coach. Couldn't save it. And it's Gustavus ball. Still leading by 8. We'll see if the Wildcats can turn up another one of those turnovers. This time Miller ready for him. Anzarowski into the front court. Farther than Gustavus got on their last position. Miller. As the Wildcats will play a man-to-man defense. Rice to the left hand. Lee for Miller now. Anzarowski. Odo has it. Gustavus in no hurry with the lead late. They've got 3 seconds left to work with. Tried to get it to Rice. She booted it. And Meg Clark comes up with the turnover. A steal for St. Kate's. A minute to go. The Wildcats got to make up 8 points. Clark for Cambryce. She drives, pulls up. Couldn't get the bounce. Radford going for the rebound, and a foul is going to be called against Gustavus. This one will go against Miller, I would imagine. No, they're going to call it against Radford going for the board. So a foul against St. Kate's. That one hurts. Third foul against Radford. And it sends Michaela Miller to the free throw line. Her next point will be her 30th. And it won't come on her first try. 84% free throw shooter, misses her first. Both teams with 5 fouls. Second shot good for Miller. She's got 30. Gustavus by 9. Fosness inside of the arc. Nearly lost it. That was Torvik. Now Clark down low. Fosness, strong move to the basket. Couldn't finish off the layup. Got a good look at it, though. Cambryce had it. Lost it. And a foul under the basket. And the Wildcats now officially look like they're going to be the 6th seed in the MIAC's playoffs. A loss today clinched that after the big win against Augsburg on Wednesday night. But think back to the pregame show conversation that we had with Don Mulhern. And I asked him, I said, what's the strategy when you might see a team again in just a couple of days? First free throw is good for Lee. And he said, well, we want to worry about us. For one thing, we're not going to worry about what the other team is doing, and we want to get a little bit better. Lee has 12 points. The last time these two teams squared off, the Wildcats lost by 27 points. Today, right now, they're down by 11 with just seconds left in the game. So, mission accomplished. It's Gustavus ball. They can dribble it out if the Wildcats are inclined to let them. Again, these two teams will play on Tuesday in the MIAC playoffs. So, mission accomplished. Got a little bit better and had a chance late in the fourth quarter against a team that you lost to by 27 back in January. But this is a much improved Wildcat team. That night they were without Donica Cambryce. Garcia led the scoring with 9. If Gustavus wants to and if St. Kate's will oblige them, they can dribble this thing out. 9 seconds left and an 11-point lead. And it looks like that's going to be the case. And it'll be Lee, and that's the final buzzer. That's a wrap on the regular season for St. Kate's. Michaela Miller and Miranda Rice just a little too much today for St. Kate's. They combined, let's see, Miller had 30. Miranda Rice had 19, so 49 points between the two of them. And they, like I said, they were just a handful today for St. Kate's, who got another good game out of Donica Cambryce, who scores 19 points. Radford, just as she was on Wednesday night, was very good with 14 of her own. Bailey Silman off of the bench chipped in with 7 as well. But this team is on the way to the playoffs. We're going back to the playoffs. Last year the Wildcats went to the playoffs, lost in the first round on the road against St. Ben's. It looks like this year they'll go back on the road for the first round as the 6th seed and take on the 3rd seeded Gustavus Gusties, who they just lost to by a final of 77-66. So let's put a bow on the regular season. Gustavus finishes 20-5 in this 2017-2018 campaign, 14-4 in the MIAC. Those 4 losses all to top teams. For St. Kate's, they finished winners 4 out of their last 6, but fall today to 12-13 overall and 8-10 in MIAC competition, but good enough with a tiebreaker. It looks like Augsburg up by 2, so the Augies might match the Wildcats record, but St. Kate's will have the tiebreaker over the Augies with a win on Wednesday night to clinch that 6th seed. So St. Kate's finishes 8-10 in the MIAC, 12-13 overall in the regular season. And again, the 6 playoff teams, St. Thomas, St. Ben's, Gustavus, Bethel, St. Mary's, and St. Kate's. Again, it looks like St. Thomas is going, well, still a close one just up the block, 62-55. A win, though, today for St. Thomas would clinch them as the 1 seed. Bethel is guaranteed, St. Ben's, that is guaranteed no worse than the 2 seed. They will both have first-round byes and face the winners of St. Mary's and Bethel and Arden Hills on Tuesday, and St. Kate's on the road against Gustavus, against this very good Gustie team, very senior Gustie team with Rice and Miller on Tuesday night. Weather permitting, we will have that game for you on tjsportsonline.net, so keep tuned to St. Kate's on Facebook and on Twitter and on their game day page. That's where you can find all of the information that you need. So, Glenn Thompson, another year, another good show, my friend, another flawlessly executed season by you, turning knobs and moving cameras and doing all of the muscle work here from the Butler Center, my friend.
But I couldn't have done it without you, Matthew, so my congratulations to you too, son. You know what? I got to say.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, be careful here.
I'm bracing myself here.
No.
I got a $20 bill ready, depending on how nice this comment
okay, put it
is
right
going to
there.
be.
You always called me the best into business, and as much as I appreciate that, really it is you. Because nobody does this better than Matt Nelson, and I'm here to tell you.
Thank you, my friend.
We've worked together. This is our, 4th, 5th, 6th year? How many years have we been doing this?
Feels like 100 sometimes.
Yes. But every single one of them has been enormously fun, and I thank you for that.
Pleasure is all mine.
Have a good season, and we'll be back here next fall.
Absolutely. No doubt about that with Wildcat volleyball here from the Butler Center.
We can hardly wait.
Volleyball and basketball, and yes, Glenn works so hard to bring you these broadcasts, and I say it every year, so I'll say it again. If you guys listening at home has half as much fun as we do producing the games, mission accomplished.
No, I think we have more fun.
That's probably right. Thank heavens most of it is off of the air for our job security. So the Wildcats fall today. They've lost both times now that they've played Gustavus this season, but they'll get a 3rd crack at the Gusties Tuesday night in the first round of the MIAC playoffs. So until we talk again, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and go Cats!